April 1841, South Carolina. An announcement that shocked even the cruelest plantation owners in Colleton County. Silas Rutledge placed his 28-year-old daughter, Catherine, a woman weighing over 260 pounds, under the complete authority of an enslaved man named Ezekiel Cross, not as a nurse, not as a companion, as her owner in every way that mattered except on paper. White society was scandalized. But they had no idea what Rutledge was truly doing, or what Ezekiel Cross would do to Catherine over the following months. By November, Catherine's body had changed in ways no one could explain. 13 men were dead. Cypress Grove Plantation was ash. What really happened between that enslaved man and the plantation owner's daughter? What did he do to her that terrified everyone who witnessed it? Before we uncover the disturbing truth, make sure to subscribe, hit that bell, and comment below. Now let me take you back to where it all began. Narrator. Spring in Colleton County arrived with oppressive heat. The Combahee River moved slowly, reflecting Spanish moss that hung like funeral shrouds. Rice paddies stretched for miles, worked by hundreds of the enslaved. This was wealth built on suffering. Cypress Grove's owner, Silas Rutledge, was not quite elite, but desperately wanted to be. His daughter, Catherine, was considered mad, prone to violent fits, her body swollen from years of medications for hysteria. But her madness wasn't madness at all. It was a response to what she witnessed at 12 years old. Silas was part of a secret society, the Brethren of the Harvest. 13 men who performed rituals they believed strengthened the land through blood sacrifice. They believed the strong were meant to consume the weak. Literally. Narrator. Deep in debt to the Brethren, Silas received an offer. His debts would be forgiven if he publicly humiliated himself. He must place Catherine under the total control of one of his slaves for a full year, announce it as an extreme medical treatment. He agreed. The choice society trained him to make: property over people, power over morality. The slave selected was Ezekiel Cross, purchased from Virginia. Skills, carpentry, and herbal medicine. Temperament, quiet, and obedient. What the letter didn't say was that Ezekiel had been chosen for this purpose, that his arrival was no accident, that 3 years prior Silas Rutledge had sold Ezekiel's wife and 2 children to a death camp plantation in Alabama, just to prove his ruthlessness to the Brethren. Ezekiel had spent 2 years getting sold south, gathering information, waiting for this moment. He carried a cloth bundle with 3 names: Sarah, Benjamin, Ruth, his family. His chance for justice had arrived. Narrator. Ezekiel's first meeting with Catherine was in her darkened, medicine-stanched room. She was venomous, suspicious. He didn't play the doctor. Instead, he opened the curtains. When did you last go outside? When did you last eat without laudanum? He saw what others didn't: the tremors of mercury poisoning, the fog of deliberate overmedication. What if the doctors are wrong, he asked. What if everything you've been told is designed to keep you controllable, to ensure you never become well enough to speak about what you saw? Then, clarity in Catherine's eyes for the first time in years. He told her his truth. Silas had destroyed his family. She told him hers. She'd witnessed the Brethren's rituals. Her father had spent 16 years poisoning her mind to silence her. "I want them all dead," she whispered. "Every man in that cellar." An alliance was forged. Not between a victim and a savior, but between 2 weapons of revenge. Catherine revealed she had a hidden journal and knew of a ledger in a secret cellar room, a record of every Brethren atrocity. Silas made his scandalous announcement at a dinner for the county's elite. Catherine played the obedient, improved daughter, agreeing to be placed under Ezekiel's authority. The room was horrified, but the plan was in motion. Weeks later, with Silas away, Ezekiel and Catherine descended into the cellar. They found the hidden chamber and the massive ledger. The entries were clinical, monstrous, dates, names, descriptions of ritual murder and consumption. Ezekiel found the three-line entry documenting his family's sale. They began copying evidence. But they were not alone. Silas had never left. He surrounded them with brethren members. "Did you really think I wouldn't anticipate this?" he asked. Captured, they were brought before the full brethren. The verdict: death. But Silas offered Ezekiel a twisted alternative. Join them, become an associate, participate in their next ritual. In return, they would help him destroy the Alabama planter who killed his family, and Catherine would be sent north, free. If he refused, they both died that night. Narrator: Ezekiel appeared to accept. Catherine was sent away in a carriage. For 3 weeks, Ezekiel was watched constantly, awaiting his initiation. The night came. In the candlelit cellar, a young enslaved woman was bound on the altar. A knife was placed in Ezekiel's hand. His test: make the first cut. He took the knife. The brethren smiled, and then he moved. The blade flashed not toward the woman, but into the throat of the nearest brethren member. He threw a robe over candles, plunging the room into chaos. He fought like a man with nothing to lose, freeing the woman, shouting for her to run. He was outnumbered. But what Silas didn't know was that Catherine had never left. She had been hiding in the slave quarters, recruiting. She had spoken to the enslaved of Cypress Grove and neighboring plantations, people who had lost children to the swamps, who had endured unspeakable cruelty. 23 of them now stood at the cellar entrance, armed with tools from the fields. They flooded down the stairs. What followed was not a battle, but a reckoning. The powerful, soft-handed men of the brethren were no match for a lifetime of pent-up rage. Judge, Reverend, banker, none were spared. Silas made a final play, grabbing Catherine, a knife to her throat. "Stop, or I kill her!" She looked at him without fear. "You spent 16 years trying to make me forget. You failed. I remember everything, and I'm going to watch you die." She broke free. Ezekiel faced him. "Please," Silas begged. "Did my wife say please?" Ezekiel asked. "Did my son?" There was no mercy. Narrator: when it was over, Catherine and Ezekiel stood in the carnage. They knew the ledger could never leave the cellar. It would mean a hunt that would never end. True justice was the silence of the swamp. They poured oil. They placed the bodies. They stacked the ledger. Ezekiel tore out only the page with his family's names. "So they are not forgotten." Catherine lit the flame. By dawn, Cypress Grove was an inferno. The official story was a tragic accident. A candle knocked over, 13 men trapped. Catherine Rutledge was presumed dead in the fire. The two conspirators parted at sunrise. Ezekiel went west to disappear and perhaps help others escape. Catherine went north with stolen money and a coded journal, determined to write the truth and hide it for a future generation to find. The enslaved who helped them scattered, carrying the secret to their graves. Whispers became legend in slave quarters, the night the masters burned. In 1971, during demolition, a coded journal was found sealed in a wall. It vanished from records before it could be fully decoded. Some say descendants of the brethren destroyed it. Others believe it still exists, waiting. This mystery shows us that power built on cruelty is an illusion, that secrets in the dark always find the light, and that the people history calls powerless often hold the most dangerous power of all, the power of witness, the power of memory, the power of refusing to forget. What do you think? Was justice served? Does that coded journal still exist, waiting to tell its full story? Let me know in the comments if you want more tales where history meets horror. Subscribe to Liturgy of Fear. Hit the bell for notifications. Share this story, because some voices need to be heard, even a century later.